Hey, book lovers, we are Ellen and Sarah, and this is Besties and Books, where we drink wine, share laughs, talk all books, all the stories that steal our hearts.
Today we are back with a full spoiler reading vlog. We are already up to book 4 in the Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh, Redeeming 6, which follows Joey and Aiofe. Like we said, it is full spoilers, so if you have not read the Boys of Tommen series, now is the time to click out of this video and go read it. With that being said, let's get straight into the vlog. Hey besties, we are back with another full spoiler reading vlog for Redeeming 6 by Chloe Walsh. This is book 4 in the Boys of Tommen series. This is my first check-in. I'm about 15% of the way through, and I was going to film this literally probably just 1 or 2 chapters before I got to this point, but I just kept reading. It was obviously a sign, because where I'm at now, Claire has just told Aiofe that she thinks she's pregnant. Oh my God! Like, it was sort of hinted at and alluded to, but I was like, no, I don't think Chloe Walsh will do this to us. She's not going to do this. Like, just knowing how Joey would feel about this situation, feeling trapped, he doesn't want to have babies anytime soon, if ever. It would just rock him to his core, and potentially he would, like, I just foresee this not sitting well with him. Or it could go the other way and he could totally embrace us. Either way, I'm scared, guys. I am so scared for Joey and Aiofe right now. Aoife's going through all the motions. She hasn't said anything to Joey yet. And she hasn't even, look, honestly, we're at a point now where she hasn't even taken a test to confirm whether or not she's pregnant, right? She doesn't know, but all the signs are there. So if she does take a test and it comes back positive, I'm really scared about Aoife's decision-making process. It's sort of alluded to that she might not ever tell Joey and she might deal with it in her own way, but we don't know, and I hope that doesn't happen. I hope her communication is transparent enough with Joey now and they trust each other enough now to be able to talk about this and communicate with one another and come up with a plan of attack together, either way, with whatever they choose. But I am like on the edge of my seat. I really want to know what is going to happen next. But right now, I'm about to duck out and get myself an ice matcha with my husband. We're just going to have like a little date. And then when I come back, I'm going to get straight back into the book and read what happens next. And I will do another check-in either around the 50% mark, or if I have something more to say about what's literally about to unfold. The only other thing that I wanted to mention was the dedication to opening this book. I thought was so cute. I have to read it to you. Hang on. Redeeming 6 is dedicated to the boys I went to secondary school with, whose shenanigans, friendships, banter, hilarious antics, and blind loyalty inspired the characters of Johnny, Gibbsy, Feely, and Huey. Walshy / Al and Madden, the OG Boys of Tommen, and yeah, I married the first one. Oh, I just find it so cute. I didn't realize there was like such a personal connection to this book with Chloe Walsh and I guess her experiences in high school. I just love it. It feels like so extra special to me when I read this book and going into it. We've also had a little bit more of a cameo from Gibbsy. It was sort of his usual fun banter, playful humour. We see a little bit of him in Claire, so I'm interested to know whether they're going to get their own book later on, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to go and get my matcha now. I'm so excited to get back into it. I am gripped. I am scared and nervous about what's going to happen next.
Hey, besties. Time for my first check-in for Redeeming 6. This is book 4 in the Boys of Tommen series. We have been doing a vlog of every book in this series and we are loving it. Book 4 continues the story of Joey and Aiofe, and it starts right where book 3 finished. So in the schemes of the whole series, we are about at the beginning of events in books 1 and 2. So I am expecting that we will be reliving some scenes from books 1 and 2, but from Joey's perspective. Now, I wasn't sure in book 3 if I enjoyed the fact that we had gone so far back in time. But currently in book 4, I'm actually loving where we're at. I'm enjoying all of the cameos from characters that we know and love from books 1 and 2. I'm super interested in how far this book is going to go. So much happens in books 1 and 2, and we have to fit all of those events in somehow, but plus go past where book 2 went, because Joey was not in a good state at the end of book 2. So we need to go past there, hopefully, to see him end in a better position that he was in book 2. Now on to the actual book. I'm at chapter 42, which I think is about 30% into the book. The beginning so far, Joey has been spiraling out of control. His breakup with Aiofe at the end of book 3, I think, was the kick he needed to try and get some sort of sense and control back into his life. Joey and Aiofe have finally gotten back together. Joey has admitted that he loves her, and he's been more open with his emotions and his feelings. So things are looking sort of a bit more positive. We've had some slight interactions with Joey's dad, Teddy, who is just continuing to be the sleaze that he is. We did have a very cute scene that we saw in books 1 and 2 where Shannon and Joey are at Johnny's house, and Shannon sort of gets mauled in a loving way by Johnny's dogs and is covered in slobber and dog poo, and she has to have a shower at Johnny's house. And I loved this scene when we heard it from Shannon's perspective. We've now seen it from Joey's perspective, and I still love it. So I'm excited. I can't put the book down. I'm really enjoying it and super excited to see where the story is going to go.
Hey besties, I'm back with another reading check-in. I'm about 50% of the way through the book, and oh my gosh, this book has just been crazy, explosive, insane, dark from about the last check-in until now. So much has happened, so much is going on. So Aiofe is definitely pregnant. She took ages to tell Joey, and even then he found out in the totally wrong way in the middle of class from someone else. Every time I thought that Aiofe was going to tell Joey that she was pregnant, she didn't, and it just dragged on and on and on. And the tension was palpable. I was just like screaming at the book, you have to tell Joey, like this is just wild. So wild. So it all ends up coming out through her brother Kev. Oh my gosh, he is such an asshole. He is such a brat. I hate him. How you could do that to your twin, I have absolutely no idea. He has some serious issues and is just totally not redeemable in my book. Anyway, so a lot has happened there. And then, you know, to rub salt in the wound, Kev told Aoife's father that she was pregnant as well, and that has just led to a whole bunch of drama. Like, he's just, can't stand him. So a lot has happened in the book. We are seeing a lot of Joey trying to do better, and then basically this pregnancy comes out. There's other stuff that happens in between there, especially with Joey's father, and it basically just gets very dark. So the point where I'm at now is Aoife's parents have rung Joey's parents, called them over to the house. They're sort of having a chat about their new grandchild. Joey's father obviously starts throwing insults, speaking like crap to Joey, just being his usual awful self, not only to Joey, but to his own wife, Joey's mother, and also Aoife's mother as well. And it's just like, he just makes me sick to my stomach. He's just awful. Obviously, Joey has been through a lot. So that's sort of where I'm at now. I'm absolutely gripped. I'm totally loving it. I'm also really appreciating the cameos from Gibbsy. He's really adding that comic relief back into the book, which we didn't have in Saving 6. So that's been really nice, and I've literally been laughing out loud at Gibbsy. He's just such a fun, such a great character. There's also a really intense scene in this book where Aoife takes Joey's kids back to the house. Joey's not there, she doesn't know where he is, and Joey's dad turns up. Oh my gosh, this was such a horrific, graphic essay scene, which nearly turned into rape if Joey hadn't stepped through that front door literally at the last second. My heart was literally in my throat. I was just like, no. This cannot be happening. This cannot be seriously happening. Horrific. I don't know how Aoife even managed to get through that without any help. She didn't report him. She didn't do anything. It's just like, oh my God, it was just awful. And then that whole event there has sent Joey into a spiral. So he's starting to think he looks exactly like his father. Aoife's starting to see him that way. And Joey is just spiraling again out of control and being involved in drugs. So that's all the check-in that I have for now. I will check in again around that 70% mark or when I'm nearing the end of the book.
Hey besties, time for my next check-in. I wasn't planning on doing a check-in so soon. I'm chapter 60, so about 40% through the book. But oh my God, so much has happened. I just had to do a check-in. Joey's mum was pregnant. She's lost the baby. So Joey's dad calls Joey to come to the hospital to look after the mum because he wants to go to a pub, asshole that he is. Meanwhile, Aoife was looking after Joey's 3 younger brothers. She took them out for the day, had a wonderful day, brought them home, put them to bed. She's waiting around the house for Joey to arrive. And all of a sudden, Joey's dad comes home, comes into the house, sees Aoife there, and tries to attack her sexually. It's one of the most horrible scenes I've ever read. It completely took me by shock. I was not expecting that to happen. I am still a little bit gobsmacked that it happened. Thank God Joey and his mum come home before anything too serious happens and he gets Aoife out of there. So Aoife and Joey, they're now dealing with the aftermath of Joey's dad's attack. Aoife is struggling with the fact that her boyfriend looks exactly like a man who tried to rape her, and Joey is just out of his mind. He goes AWOL for a few days and goes to Shane's house, and that's again such a horrible scene when just saying, don't go there, don't go there, what are you doing, Joey, stop. So Aoife and Joey, they don't talk for a few days, and then when they reunite at school a couple of days later, Joey is back on the drugs, much to Aoife's just absolute horror. She is just sort of destroyed watching him self-destruct. Meanwhile, Aoife is pregnant and she hasn't told Joey. She's tried a few times, but just the right moment hasn't come up. She can't say the words. She does actually say the words to him at one point, but he is so high, he doesn't remember the next day. So things are just, I can't even put into words that so much has happened. It is full on. It is an emotional ride. It is so good, but also just gut-wrenching and sad and horrible and beautiful all at the same time. Thankfully, I've ended this section on a bit of a lighter note with Joey and his sister Shannon having this very cute conversation where she's asking him a lot of questions about sex and he is clearly very awkward and does not want to be there. So that's a little bit of a nice relief moment after all the tension. Anyway, can't put the book down, back to reading, and I will do another check-in soon.
Hey besties, I'm back. I am flying through this book. I'm already at the 70% mark. Not a lot has happened, I have to admit, between the 50 and 70% mark. So we're seeing a lot of the events being recycled and repeated from Binding 13 and Keeping 13. I'm a bit tired of it. I'm a bit over it. It's going into all the detail again, which we already know. And I get it's from Joey's perspective, but I'm just a little bit over it. And that's the only sort of irk that I have with this book at this point in time. Where I'm at now is Joey has just totally spiraled ever since that event between Aoife and Joey's father in the kitchen, and he's just high on drugs again, clearly needing an intervention. If I didn't know that he eventually ends up in rehab, as he does at the end of Keeping 13, I'd actually be really concerned he's literally about to overdose. And I'm like, this boy needs to get into rehab. I know it's expensive, but you cannot put a price on his life. He is that close to death. Aoife has a baby coming along. Joey really needs some serious help. So the book is getting very dark again. We've seen Joey and Shannon be in the hospital following a brutal beating from the father. The father's disappeared. The scans for Joey show up multiple scars and contusions on his brain and skull from infancy. So that was really horrific to hear about, that he's literally copped this physical and emotional abuse from 18 months old. And the doctors can clearly see that pattern of domestic violence. It's just so dark. Also, because we're nearing so close to the end of the book, I'm really starting to think that what happens with Joey's parents with the murder-suicide with the fire in their house is going to be at the end again of Redeeming 6. And I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed by that as well. I was really hoping to see Joey post-rehab, how he was adjusting to family life with Aiofe and their little one, and just getting more of the future for the Lynch family. But I really don't think we're going to get that now, and I'm so sad because I really wanted a glimpse into future Joey and Aiofe. Anyway, I'm still loving the book, but I am hoping it moves away from the events of the past that we see in Binding 13 and Keeping 13 and gives us a bit of a fresh plot to deal with and just some more of that lightheartedness. I am still loving the cameos, but I'm just not loving the repeats of events of the past. So that's where I'm at now. I will check in with you again when I have more to say, or when I've finished the book, because I am that close and I really think I might actually finish this today.
Hey besties, time for my next check-in. I am up to chapter 100, which is about 70% through the book. Aoife's brother needs a punch in the face. He's overheard a conversation between Aiofe and her mum regarding her pregnancy, and he storms in and he goes off at her. He hurls all sorts of abuse at her. She's trash. She is a slut. The father's a junkie. Just lays it all on her. Aiofe is, obviously in an emotional state anyway. She's pretty destroyed about this. Then he goes around the school and tells everyone at school about the pregnancy. So poor Joey has to hear about it in the middle of class from Aoife's ex. Ouch. But then Aoife's brother even goes one step further and blurts it out to Aoife's dad, who doesn't know about it either. So Aoife is she's devastated and she is furious and she's very, very emotional. Joey and Aiofe do finally get to have a chat about the baby and he is all in. She wants to keep the baby. He's going to support her. He is planning to be there for everything, despite all the pressure that they are getting to have an abortion. And that's coming from Aoife's mum particularly, it's coming from other family members, but Joey is going to stick by Aoife's decision. Now, we've just had events from book 2 where Joey and Shannon's dad comes home and basically bashes up Joey and Shannon to within an inch of their lives and they're hospitalized. So that's been a pretty full-on couple of chapters. We knew it was coming, but we've heard it from Joey's perspective. Darren, the older brother, has come home. He's also pressuring Aiofe to have an abortion, saying that she's ruining Joey's life and he's happy to pay for it. Joey he disappears for 2 weeks. He goes on a 2-week bender, ends up, of course, with his, drug friend Shane, and we just see him slip more and more and more into the drugs. Aoife starts to accept the fact that her boyfriend is a heroin addict and that he can't control it. Joey, he keeps coming back to Aoife and he keeps apologizing, but he just can't break the cycle. And Aoife is having to cover for him. She's forking out money to pay off his drug debts. She is starting to lose hope. It's not looking good for Joey, I've got to be honest. And then Joey gets a call from Shannon and she's in tears at school and says, you need to come and get me. He doesn't know what's happened, but he rocks up at school and of course that leads to a fight, which he actually, bless him, he punches a guy out because he's concerned that Johnny's about to do it and he doesn't want Johnny to sort of, lose his football scholarship type things. So Joey does it for him, and I've just read the scene where Joey is in a lot of trouble from the school and he's actually been arrested. So again, we knew this was coming because we read it in book 2 from Shannon's perspective, but the level of detail that we get from a different person's perspective is quite fascinating, and the author does this so well, retelling the same story from different perspectives. Again, I wasn't sure if I would be that into it, but I am loving it. I cannot put this down. I will be finishing this in the next few days because I am desperate to know where it will go.
Hey besties, I'm back. I've officially finished Redeeming 6 and Chloe Walsh did not disappoint. I mentioned in my last check-in how I was getting a bit sick of the whole rinse and repeat of the same storyline and plot points, but literally from the next page we really deviated from that. So we did still touch on some of the events like Joey's parents dying and, you know, getting everything from his perspective, but everything was fresh, everything was new. We got to see him go to rehab and go through that recovery process, which I just loved and soaked in every second. And then we got to watch Joey become a new father. Oh, I just loved it. I normally don't love an extended epilogue or, you know, when the book takes too long to wrap things up, but this was just done so perfectly. I loved every second. It was exactly what I wanted and I just could not get enough. I loved Johnny's mum and how she just really took Joey under her wing and was like, I love you unconditionally. I love all sides of you. Built him an annex for him, Aoife, and the baby. It was just so sweet. I shed many tears. And we also got to see Joey in his role as a new father and him taking care of Aoife and just straight away stepping up, stepping in, helping Aoife all along the way, not letting her feel silly or stupid at all. Just totally being there for her as a teammate, and I just loved it. He is really putting her and the baby first, and I just love Joey so much now that I've finished this book. I always loved him before, but now it's like he's a total angel. I'm just totally obsessed with him and Aoife. I also loved Johnny's father's role in this and how Mr. Kavanagh really stepped in for Joey, got him off the hook in prison. He just kicked ass in that courtroom and really helped Joey out. It was just so good. And then Paul having a redemption arc, him meeting with Aoife and saying, you know, he wanted to give a chance for his first love to have her first love. I was just like, oh my God. When he had some involvement in having Shane Holland arrested for drug dealing, I loved it. I still obviously, I'm not a fan of Paul. He was a total dick throughout most of Redeeming 6 and Saving 6. However, that was pretty special. I loved that. I loved him just trying to do something right before he went off to college. It was just really surprising and really sweet. So overall, totally love this book. An obvious another 5 stars from me. Not like the shaky 5 stars that I gave Saving 6. Redeeming 6 is a definite 5-star read in my book, and I really think Boys of Tommen is going to end up in that god tier status for me. I have just loved every second, and I cannot wait to read the next 2 books in the series, whenever that might be. That's all from me, besties. Bye for now.
Hey besties, my final check-in for Redeeming 6. I have just finished it today, and the last 30% was intense. I was on and off in tears for most of it, I'd say. Where to even begin? So Joey is in prison just for the night for punching out that kid at Tommen. He does use his one phone call to call his mum. She does not answer, and he's not surprised because he's pretty down in the dumps and just thinks his mum doesn't care or love him. And then, bless him, Johnny's dad turns up. He is a barrister and he is going to represent Joey, and it is just one of those moments where you want to cry because you are so happy that someone is finally there to stand up for this kid. So of course he gets Joey out of there. Joey goes back to their place and Johnny's parents tell him that they want to keep Joey and his 4 younger siblings. They want to keep them. They want to look after them. They want to foster them. And Joey's thinking, well, that's great for them, but there is no point with me. He's still just, his self-worth is so rock bottom. He wants to step back. He doesn't think he's worth anyone putting time or effort to. He ends up writing Aoife a suicide note that is just heartbreaking and says basically that he's got to commit suicide because he needs to free her, because he knows she's always going to love him and he's always going to love her, but he's not good for her, so he needs to let her go. He happened to bump into his father on the street that day, and his father, his horrible asshole abusive father, this is the advice he leaves his son, that basically he needs to save his girlfriend by getting rid of himself. So he goes off with a plan to commit suicide. Lizzie, who is one of Shannon's friends, she shows up and she grabs hold of his jumper and she is literally pulling him back to stop him from jumping. And it turns out that her sister, well, it sounds like her sister committed suicide there some years ago. And I think we will get Lizzie's story in one of the future books. But it's a very emotional scene. She is basically like, if you jump, I'm jumping, because I know that if you jump, your family and your friends, they will be destroyed. You're not setting them free. You are setting them up for a lifetime of pain and misery, and I will not let you do it. It's a full-on scene, but she does manage to bring him back. He goes home, back to his house, back to his horrible parents' house, and that is when he discovers the house is on fire. And again, we know this is going to happen. It happened in book 2, where Joey's dad decided to burn the house down with everyone inside. He doesn't realize that Johnny has come and gotten all the kids out of there. And again, it's another very emotional scene where Joey is screaming because he thinks his whole family are in there, and he's trying to get into the burning house to save his siblings and save his parents. And in the end, he sees his mother and his father, he sees their bodies come out and they have been burnt. They've both passed away. It's just horrific. Johnny and his dad, they show up and they say, don't worry, we have all the kids, everyone's safe, we've got everyone. And then Joey sinks into basically days of not eating, not talking. No one can get through to him except for Aoife. They do get him to sign up to going to rehab. So then the sort of final quarter of the book is Joey in rehab for a few months. There's, again, some emotional scenes where he has some interactions with his brother. They have some strained relationships. He comes out of it. He's clean for 100+ days before they let him come home. And he looks a little lost, but he comes back to Johnny's parents' house, where Johnny's mum essentially hands him the keys and says, here, we've built you a little apartment on our block for you and Aoife and your upcoming baby. And it's just this like beautiful moment. Joey doesn't even know how to thank her. He's overwhelmed. He just cannot believe that there is a family that would support and love each other. It's just so touching. Aoife has the baby. I'm running out of time. That was obviously another big event that happened in the book. They have a little boy and they name him after Aoife's dad, and they said that Aoife's dad is essentially the man that raised both Joey and Aoife. So good old Granddad got a bit emotional then too. Everyone gets emotional. It's a very emotional book. It is a full-on book. I'm sure no one will have dry eyes by the end. I definitely recommend it. I did give book 3 only 4 stars, but this book is a winner. It is a 5-star book. You have to read it. You will love it and you will cry, and then you'll probably, like Ellen and I, want to read the rest of the series. It's just too good. Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and please send us any book recommendations. Until next time, bye.
Bye.